Hey there, welcome to the garden. So we are getting toward the end of May now. I can't believe that May's already nearing the end, but everything has just started to bloom out here. I feel like the garden is taking on a whole new just look and feel. It's starting to feel so summery. So I wanted to give you a tour of the whole space, take you through the unheated greenhouse space, the raised beds, the container pond, give you an update on that, all the containers, and just a full look at the garden here in the end of May. I guess I'm just gonna start up here by the front, work my way through the unheated greenhouse and into the raised beds and all of that. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with the peanuts in a grow bag. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of a garden fail, but I tried to start these peanuts in a grow bag. As you can see, the squirrels and things have been trying to sneak in here and get some of these, but I think I have a few sprouts, so we'll see. But everything around it is looking really, really nice. So these beautiful headliner petunias are just gorgeous. I've been coming in and deadheading them because they are like the old style petunia, I believe, and so they need to be deadheaded. But they're just so pretty and kind of like these antique-y colors, which I've been loving. And they're mixed in with my herb container, which I actually need to come out here and harvest a little bit of this because it's looking so good, growing so well. I've never had sage do as well as this purple sage is doing. It looks so healthy and happy. It's just getting super big and full, which is it's really nice to just see this performing so well. And then I've also got a perennial phlox, some catmint, and actually a little volunteer snapdragon somehow snuck in here. I didn't even notice it until it was starting to flower and I realized that's a snapdragon. So we'll leave that there. That's totally fine. And then I also have in here, these are the grow bags where I planted like some tomatoes, some eggplants. There's actually a sunflower and a cosmos. And these are the 1 gallon grow bags, which I don't know, we're testing out to see if the plants are going to do okay in this level, this size container for the whole season. But they are smaller, determinate size tomatoes, and as you can see, they've really put on a ton of growth. So we're getting to the time of year now where these kind of things start to really take off, and they're doing beautifully, and it's nice to see them kind of sizing up. And then in the very back here, we actually have a heliopsis that I put. I think it's called Midnight. It's starting to bud up, so that's gonna be one of the next things that starts blooming, and I'm really excited for this to fill out and start blooming. Obviously you can see the air conditioners right here, so it's nice to have something tall that kind of blocks that. And then moving back, I've got the grow bags in the frame of the unheated greenhouse, my little Tiny Tims and Patio Choice and little tomatoes are doing well, starting to flower. I think this is my first tomato flower here on the Tiny Tim. So the micro tomatoes are winning the tomato race. And I actually planted a little bit of basil in the front, which didn't germinate super well, but there are a couple little basil seedlings. So those will be a cute like mini basil. And then in the grow bags, the zinnias and sunflowers are looking good. I'm still waiting on my birdhouse gourds to germinate. No germination so far. I did resow them. And then some eggplants and peppers in here that, I don't know, this bed or this grow bag isn't looking so great, but I transplanted a black-eyed Susan vine that I had, but it's just covered in mite, so I may have to use some pest spray in here. It's just, it's not looking super great, but the peppers are starting to put on a little bit of growth, and I've got some zinnias popping up in here next to my really pretty gomphrena. And then of course we've got the pumpkin on the stick eggplants in this bed, and they are doing well, and some zinnias. And I did plant some more melons in here, but again, no growth yet. I also resowed this grow bag. I haven't seen anything growing, but these are really fun. These are my rat's tail radishes. I'm gonna have to come out and do a taste test on these, but I've got a bunch of them to harvest. Those are pretty cool. They're a radish that instead of harvesting the root like you do a normal radish, you actually harvest those seed pods and you can use them like in salads. And yeah, that's gonna be a really fun one to try. So I'm excited to give those a try. I just need to come out and do a harvest and come up with, you know, a salad or something that I want to eat them on. But you can see over my shoulder my favorite thing in the garden right now, and that is my foxglove. So I've got this parsley and super bean container I need to come out here. I need to do a little bit of maintenance on. I've been pretty good about staying on top of it. I just need to lighten up the canopy right here on the super bean. And then I've actually got a banana pepper in here that's also needing to get a little bit more sun. The parsley is kind of starting to flower, but that's okay. And then right behind it, you can see the bumblebee is also loving my foxglove. So this is the Excelsior foxglove. I started it in January of last year, wintered it over in the Unheated Greenhouse, planted it out, and it is blooming and it is so beautiful. I think this whole bed is really whimsical and wild with the ras-tail radishes, and there's cosmos in here. There's actually a bunch of echinacea that's about to bloom as well, and black-eyed Susans, and then we've got the foxglove. There's some Russian sage that's going to start blooming here. It's just a really cool, fun bed, and it just looks wild and wonderful, and I absolutely love it. It's so pretty, and the foxglove is just stunning. It's covered in bloom stalks. I'm so excited about this. And over here we've got some good growth too. We've got some of my Patio peppers. So these are a dwarf style, kind of like container style jalapeno, which is going to be really nice. A little bit of some red, I think this is either red Freddy or Petra purple basil. I stuck a lantana that isn't looking super great. I just stuck it in this bed. And then over here we've got actually some melons. So here's a melon coming up. I planted some pumpkins that haven't yet sprouted. I threw a ton of chamomile seeds in here too, just on a whim, and so you can see a little bit the chamomile coming up just to grow in and around the pumpkins. I think it'll be fun. I like the wild jam-packed look, obviously. Oh, just look at these foxgloves. I'm gonna be distracted by them this whole time. But this is going to be really nice, and hopefully my peppers will kind of grow up a little bit, and then the pumpkins can ramble and the melons can ramble in and amongst them. And over there we've got some small size, gosh, I'm forgetting the name right now, but some container style eggplants that are also going to grow. And our button box mix zinnias are coming up. They just are looking so good. They germinated really quickly and are growing really well. And then we've got, of course, some beautiful petunias. These black petunias, oh my gosh, are so gorgeous. And our little container that we kind of cottagey container we planted up is doing well. The hens and chicks have handled their transplant super well. And we'll look at more containers because we started to have blooms on the Sun-Credible sunflowers. So these were supposed to be Sun-Credible Saturn, which I thought were supposed to have a dark rim around the flower, but they don't. But they do have the dark stem, so I don't know. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. That's interesting. But the beautiful blue salvia, which I actually seen a bunch of hummingbirds on. The perennial. These plants looked a little sad when I planted them, but they have really perked up. They're like a grape, something grape perennial. Beautiful. I'm just gonna come out and deadhead as we walk around here more. The petunias, the nemesia is still looking really good. I'm trying to decide if I should prune this back. The flower stems are getting really long and kind of like leggy. I don't have a lot of experience though with nemesia going like later in the season, so I don't know. If you know if I should prune this back, should I give this a trim? I kind of feel like maybe I should. And we've got the jigsaw peppers and this really pretty sunset coleus that I started from seed in the winter, and the eucalyptus is all kind of starting to fill out. Those containers don't look their absolute best right now, but I'm hoping they'll continue to fill in. and another, we've got another phlox back there. And of course, the really beautiful clematis. This is the still waters clematis. It's really gorgeous. And underneath it, we've got all of the peas. It's just kind of wild and wonderful, but I'm loving it that way. And then this bed, the tomato has all of a sudden, like, I swear this has grown 8 inches in the last 2 days, growing like crazy. This is like the season. All of a sudden, everything just takes off. The truffle pink gomphrena, got some patty pan squashes. This is sunburst patty pan starting to grow, which is good. And I can see my zinnias are starting to take off as well. And then these are my salad bush cucumbers, which I got a peek in here because they're loaded with flowers, and you can see some fruit kind of starting. There's the first cucumbers. Salad bush cucumbers are the only cucumbers I think I'll ever grow again. After like next year, this is all I'm starting, because they just produce, and I mean, like, look at all the cucumbers on there. And it's just a nice little bush like habit. So it's small. It fits perfectly in this little, this is a 2x4. All these beds are 2x4, and it fits perfectly in there. And it's covered in fruits. And then these are some millet, which I'm really excited. They're actually starting to grow now. I should give this guy a little bit more space. But they're actually starting to like take off and grow. And they were kind of like just hanging out there for a while, but that's really encouraging to see. The tomatoes along the fence line are also putting on good growth. We've got echinaceas, some cosmos back here. The lavender crushed roses are about to do their thing. That's my David Austin rose that I just started, or just planted, I mean. And we've got a little bit of like blue spice basil. I believe that that's a Mexican sunflower there. Suncredible sunflower, or I mean Sunfinity sunflower. I don't know. And a bunch of milkweed that's sort of not doing anything yet. So I'm not super happy with this corner of the garden. I will definitely redo it either, if not this, mid-season, then definitely next year I will do something different. Too many things from seed there, and it just is not taking off as much as I would like. I want the garden to be looking full like this time of year. Not quite like that, but bring that up to lessons learned. One thing that I am glad I started from seed, and I am glad I have been patient on, are the ranunculus. So I got these ranunculus seeds. I believe I got them from Park Seed, and I was like totally not sure about starting ranunculus from seed, because usually you start them from corms, but I figured I would just give it a go. They kind of just sat around this spring, and I thought, oh, I don't know if they're going to do anything, but I was actually patient. I actually just left them alone, let them keep growing, and look, they are about to bloom. They aren't probably the hugest ranunculus I've ever seen, but they're about to bloom, and I am so excited. I'm just so happy I waited and was patient. Next to them, I've got a bunch of petunias that I'm realizing I probably need to come in and do another little trim on, but beautiful. And this is just gonna be so exciting. So they're the matcha mix, I think. Yeah, matcha mix seed ranunculus, and I may actually do this again. I thought I was not going to do it. I thought I was done with the seed ranunculus, but I'm excited. I mean, these are such beautiful flowers. They're going to be gorgeous. They're a little later than I would normally expect my ranunculus to be blooming, but that's okay. And then we have blueberries. These are a Patio. I think it's just called like container blueberry. I just have one plant, and it's self-pollinated, and it's full of blueberries. This is going to be a really exciting snack when those all ripen. Some more of the gomphrena just to tie things in. I've got anise hyssop and another echinacea back there. The echinacea is pretty small. I don't know. It's not really thriving. I'm going to throw some more fertilizer on it, and hopefully it's a really pretty echinacea, but it's just not turning out. And we've got peas there, and then one of my favorite containers, it's doing so well, my cottage container. It's looking beautiful. We've got the Gara, the Nemesia, and the Sclavola, all of that looking great. Some peppers and cosmos in here, just kind of, they've all been kind of sitting, and now they're just taking off. Really beautiful. There were onions in here, and I got some kind of boar that came in and ate all my onions, but it doesn't seem to be bothering the peppers. We've got like I think we've got a Jimmy Nardello and a habanado. yeah, a few different peppers in here, and this should be the chocolate cosmos. Hopefully we get these to bloom. So that's this whole little area. And then we've got some ground cherries, my cucamelons. Let me train these actually this way. So instead of growing onto the onto that ground cherry over there, we're gonna try to get it to go up the trellis. But those are some cucamelons, some acorn squash, and I believe another honey rock melon that I planted in here. And I'm hoping that, I don't know, I'm gonna have to come in and thin these out because they're gonna be too much, and actually a little bit of corn too, but that's gonna be all a bit too many things for one grow bag. So I gotta come in and trim back a couple of them, but they are looking really healthy, which is nice and good to see. And then over here on the other side, here's the whole look of the garden. I've got to fill up that container. Is going to be, it's typically a little container pond, and I just emptied it out. I should have refilled it before I did a tour, but you know, things happen. But anyways, I'm loving the look of this right now. It's just so pretty. But we've got some more kind of like repeats of things, the Terenia, just, you know, to keep some consistency in the garden, a repeat of the jigsaw peppers. And this beautiful Angelonia. I just love Angelonia. It's one of my favorite flowers. And then I have my little pitcher plant, which was living in the container pond, but it got knocked over a few times. And I just moved it in here, and it's been doing really well. It's got some new pitchers coming, and I'm just really hoping I can keep it going. I do need to get some more like moss and do a little bit better job repotting it, but I just wasn't sure if it was going to survive. But it seems to be happy in this container, so hopefully it continues to grow well. And then we've got this guacamole plant, which is really beautiful, a new favorite for me, one that I didn't really know about, but now I have got it identified, and this is going to be a plant that I plant a lot in the future. It's another great addition, like a shade foliage plant, kind of like coleus, but you know, a little bit different, and really, really pretty. I think it just really adds. And then I actually have some chocolate mint. This was a little seedling that I found. It had gotten in like one of my other pots, just must have been in the potting soil or something. You know how mint goes. And so I just stuck it in here. Actually, not chocolate. I said chocolate mint. I don't know why I said chocolate. It's orange mint. Really, really delicious mint. And it's, of course, just growing happily as mint does. Waiting on the fig tree to see if it will pull through. And then over here, we've got these beautiful apricot nasturtiums, which haven't started blooming yet, but their leaves are gorgeous. I've just kind of been enjoying the look of them along this side. There's some lettuce that I started, but the lettuce, I don't think it's really getting enough sun or anything. I'm just trying not to worry about it. I'm just gonna let the nasturtiums do their thing in this bed, and they're just so pretty that I'm leaving it. And then I have a slow bolt cilantro, which I'm actually able to harvest now. This is probably the first time I've gotten cilantro all the way to harvest, and basically what I've done, ooh, I see a couple weeds. Basically what I've done with the cilantro is just grown it in the shade this year, and that has worked out pretty well. And then we've got the Ford Hook Giant Swiss chard in the back, which is coming right along. I expect that'll really start taking off here soon and start filling up the back of this bed. I do have to come in here and trim this topiary up. It's just an arb. I got it like after Christmas. I got this arb a few years ago after Christmas at just outside like Home Depot. They'll have like the $5, you know, pine trees that they're just trying to get rid of at the end of the season. And I snagged it, and I ended up making it into a little spiral topiary, and I do need it. It's been on my list to come out and prune that. So that one I need to come out and get after. And then we've got the lemony lace elderberry, which is in its prime season right now. Always the most beautiful time of year for that. And actually a corkscrew willow all the way in the corkscrew willow back there. It's just starting to peek up over the fence and looking really happy, which is exciting to see. And then I've got a little bit of a perennial bed over here next to the container pond. So I've got a little bit of milkweed back there. Those are kind of those tiny little, looks like weeds right now. And there's actually a few little black-eyed Susan starts. Then this is a foxy foxglove, which is supposed to be a first-year blooming foxglove. Typically foxgloves are biennials, but that's supposed to be a first-year blooming. It's not really taking off in growth yet, so I don't know if it's just not getting enough sun or if it's just taking its time. I'm hoping to get a bloom. I'm going to turn you over here because you can see the goldfish. I love these goldfish. They are so much fun. The container pond is one of my favorite spaces in the garden, and we've got the lily pads and everything in here. I moved the Irish moss over next to it, and we got the coleus and the Irish moss, and then the sweet potato vine, and the pond with the little ruby red minnows and the fish. Now I had a bog plant in here. I am going to go back and go ahead and get another bog plant because you can see I've got a little bit of algae in the container pond right now, and I'm going to redo the fountain, so I need to do a little bit of work on this, but I still like the look of it even when it's a little low like this. It just, you know, it just adds to the whole space over here. So I really do like that, and it's been super fun, and this whole area is just really nice right now. It's so amazing to have everything blooming. Even like, look at these little blooms on the radishes. They're so pretty and so wild and crazy. I love that. This is an apricota cosmos. So when you grow cosmos super crowded and in the shade like this, obviously this is not as big and full as it would be if it had more space, but it is still blooming. It's just a little bit of a smaller flower, but it's still getting. One of the things that I've learned with small space gardening like this is that you sort of count your successes in different ways. You know, maybe if I had a bigger garden, I'd have a whole patch of blueberries, you know, and I'd be excited to be freezing blueberries and using huge quantities of my own homegrown blueberries in a smoothie. But for me, with a small garden, it's more about just like the success of, hey, I grew some blueberries so that I was able to have a little snack and grow them in a container, and it's just for fun. And same with the cosmos. If I was a flower farmer and needed big cosmos for a cutting garden, then, you know, that would be one goal. But for me, even a small flower, I still think it's gorgeous. I still love it. I'm still enjoying it. It still makes me just as happy, and I don't mind at all that it's not as huge as maybe it could be in a different kind of space. Okay, so the last thing I think to show you, the hanging baskets and my hardy banana. I'm going to do a full hanging basket update with information on the hanging baskets upstairs as well, but just real quickly, these are my little Prince eggplants. They are doing okay. You know, this guy's not looking so good, but I still feel like this is sort of a success. It's doing okay. I'm gonna keep fertilizing it and keep hoping for the best. And then up here we've got the really beautiful little calibrachoas. They are so pretty. Little snack bell pepper, looking good. And then the morning glory is taking off, and it's making its way, rambling all the way over to the other hanging basket where I've got easy wave petunias that I started from seed. I'm super proud of these because I started them from seed and they're still doing really well. And then more peppers, and this is my upside down pepper. I've got some ideas for this, so stay tuned because I'm going to do some different things with this hanging basket. And then we have got the hardy bananas, which survived and are doing very well in the grow bag. They're looking pretty good, and I've got a banana pepper in there too. Some more things in the works down there, and another easy wave petunia that I started from seed in January, and look at it go. I lost a lot of my petunia plants. I did struggle a little bit with starting my petunias from seed, but the easy waves were great. So if I start more again from seed, I will probably do some more of those easy wave petunias because they were very fun, and they have been growing pretty well. That yellow one in the hanging basket is just blooming and blooming and looking absolutely fabulous. So that is May in the garden. All of a sudden, blooms everywhere. I'm really loving the space where it is right now. I did a little bit of moving around some of the containers and I've really been enjoying how it looks. So I hope you're having a lovely day, a lovely month in your garden. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.